Okay, what I want to talk about now is why warm leads are so valuable, both to business owners as well as to you as someone who's doing lead generation. So, first of all, there's the obvious thing, the money. So if you just go ahead and search on Google, how much do leads sell for? The first result says you could sell leads online anywhere from 20 to 500 plus per lead. So that's going to be the general range. Obviously, on the higher end, you can get into the thousands, but that's probably going to be for more experienced people. So that's kind of what you're looking at, $20 to $500 per lead for general type of services. But I want to talk about why that is. Why can you just go and literally sell someone's information for $20 to $500 to a local business? So I'm sure you've heard about all the social media companies and the apps and the different phones and all these big companies doing data mining, right? And there's all kinds of activists and privacy oriented people who think it's a huge deal and that these companies shouldn't be spying on people and selling their data. And then on the other end of it, you have people who work for big corporations, make a lot of money doing this stuff, want to continue. So then there in the middle is the individuals like you and me. And it turns out that people like you and me can actually profit from selling data just like the big companies can. And it's actually pretty easy. We don't even need any like fancy algorithms or anything. I'm going to break down how it works. But the reason these leads are so valuable is because this is the typical response that most people have to cold outreach. So we're talking about warm leads. That's people wanting to raise their hand and do business with somebody, right? So the other end of that is cold leads. That's again, uh, one thing a lot of small businesses do is cold calling, particularly service oriented businesses. How many times have you got a call or knock on your door from somebody selling solar panels or whatever it is? And almost all the time, you get a call during dinner, you're not interested and you don't care what they're selling. You just aren't interested in being sold to when you're not looking to purchase something. And it's the same thing a lot of times with ads. Like I said, a lot of people have ad blockers. There's like a whole controversy going on right now with YouTube and ad blockers, and YouTube's trying to block people who use ad blockers, and of course people want to keep watching YouTube but they don't want to see the ads. Anyways, ads are disruptive, so what we want to do is again get warm leads, organic leads. We want people to find the service they're looking for at the exact moment they're ready to spend money, because when that happens, this is how people feel. um, there's a difference when they get disrupted by an ad. Of course, there's the possibility they see the ad or they get the cold call at the exact time they were thinking about buying that product, but the chances are slim. But on the other aspect, the other end of that, when people are searching for a particular thing and they find it, they think they found exactly what they're looking for, they get excited. So I actually have a little list here. Again, why are warm leads so valuable to business owners and you? Well, like I said, warm leads are people that are ready to buy. So the main thing here is they don't need to be sold to. Now think about that from the perspective of a business owner. If you're a business owner, you don't have to spend 10 or 20 minutes on the phone handling people's objections. You don't have to explain to them why your product is the best. They're already ready to buy. They have their credit card out. All you have to do is as a business owner, is take the order. So that's why these leads are so valuable to business owners. And of course, they're valuable to you because you can sell them to the business owners. But uh, moreover, businesses depend on growth. In other words, they always need new customers. Pretty much every business needs new customers, right? If they don't have new customers, they stay the same size or they shrink, and that's not what business is about. So pretty self explanatory there, right? There's nothing too deep on that one. Um, Now, a reliable lead source cuts out like 90% of the marketing for business owners. Now, I did just pull that statistic out of thin air. That's not something I looked up, but I just want you to understand what's going on here. If you're providing warm leads, you're providing people who already have their credit card out, who are ready to buy a product, then the business owner doesn't really need to do anything but fill the order. They don't have to go on Facebook and make a bunch of posts and develop a following. They don't have to make YouTube videos. They don't have to go buy a billboard. They don't have to handle a bunch of phone calls or make a bunch of outbound phone calls. all they have to do is put in the person's credit card number and take the order. So you're cutting out the vast majority of the marketing they have to do by just providing the leads to them. So another thing is very few people know how to actually get leads. And those who do sell them because they get too many to handle. So I want to take a minute and show you exactly what I mean here. So if we come over here, this is one of my websites. You could see in the past 28 days, this site got 293 clicks. So that's 293 people who are interested, who came through my website, found it organic on Google for free, didn't cost me anything. So here's TikTok, popular social media platform, 11,000 views in the past 28 days, and 63 profile views. And so if we come over here to YouTube, again, another 5,000 views in the past 28 days on YouTube, just about. And this is just a few platforms. I use all of the platforms. I have dozens of websites, but the point here is that there's an unlimited amount of traffic online, and the more you get, the more people you can reach who are interested in products and services. And then you can just go and sell those leads to the highest bidder. So what's cool is you can change service providers anytime. If somebody's, late on the bill, they're late on paying you every month, and you don't want to deal with them anymore, or they call and they ask you too many questions, you can always just turn around and start selling the leads to their competitor, to the guy across the street. Or you could even get them in a bidding war and say, hey, the guy across the street's willing to pay me $75 a lead, and you only offered me 50. Are you sure you can't beat 75, right? And maybe drive the price up, maybe get $100 per lead if it's something valuable. So again, the point here is that people feel like they researched and found the best solution for their problem, right? They feel like they found the lowest priced landscaper in their neighborhood. They feel like they researched by searching Google, or by looking on social media, by searching on TikTok or Facebook or whatever. They feel like they found the most experienced plumber, or the locksmith who can get to them the fastest, right? Whatever it is. But in reality, they only found what we put in front of them. Because we're a few steps ahead. We realized, hey, there's this whole situation going on here. There's this internet thing. There's a lot of people spending money on the internet. We know exactly what they're spending it on. So, for example, service-based business, take plumber. We know that a certain amount of pipes are going to burst in a city in a given time, right? Every month, new pipes are going to burst, and plumbers are going to be out working, looking to fix those pipes, right? So if we can get ahead of that situation and say maybe create a website for a plumber in a specific city, and then we have people come to that website, well, it'll be pretty easy to sell those leads. So that brings me to the next point, that there is no limit on the amount of scaling. So pretty much, if this works in one city, right, if we can either rank a plumber on Google, or if we can get a bunch of traffic for a plumber on social media, or this could be a roofer, a landscaper, a house cleaner. Really, this can be anything, any type of business that relies on new customers. But the point is, if it works in one city or for one niche, it will work in all of them, right? So you find success with a plumber in New York, so then you go ahead and do the same thing for a plumber in Miami, and then you do the same thing for a plumber in Tallahassee, and you just continue with as many cities as you want and scale this really as much as you have time for, or as much as you can afford to outsource, and it just goes on and on. So another important thing as to why warm leads are so valuable is there are buyers on every platform, and so you don't need to learn something new. Whatever platforms you already use, you can just go ahead and implement what I'm going to show you here on whatever platform you're already comfortable with. Of course, you can go crazy and do this on every platform. I'm going to kind of cover all or most of them here as far as social media and organic Google. But basically, there's something like 4 or 5 billion people using Google or social media in the world right now, and most of them are spending money online, meaning all you really have to do is get in front of them and connect them with the business owners. So I told you before that I kind of drew out how this works. So I want to go into a little more detail about this. So what I have here is on this left side is content, right? This first one here is a video. I have a little play button there, so that's a video. It could be a TikTok video or a video on YouTube or something like that. Then I have Google My Business, right? Because we could do the same thing, like I said, on any platform. Most service-based businesses have a Google My Business, so you can absolutely do this with Google My Business. You can do this with a blog and organic SEO, like a blog or a location website. And that brings me to the last icon I have here, Fake Biz. This is one of my favorites. I call it the fake business. That's probably not an accurate term because it's not technically fake. It's a real business. But what I mean by this is you're basically going to set up a shell company in the form of a website. That's another way to do this. So like when I drew here with the videos, right, you can have a YouTube channel about plumbing. Just like you could have a YouTube channel about plumbing, you could have a Google My Business about plumbing, and you can even go ahead and create a website for plumbing, saying, hey, do you need plumbing? Put your information in here. But the point is, no matter what kind of content we create, ultimately we want to drive the traffic from that content, whether it's a video or a Google My Business or a fake business website. Whatever it is, we want to drive the traffic to what's called an opt-in page. Another thing I like to refer to this as is a yes page. We're going to create a simple yes page. I know you've seen one of these before where there's a simple box for somebody to input their email address or their phone number, and then a button for them to submit that information to get whatever it is they're looking for. So a few magical things happen once somebody puts their information into this box here and clicks submit. Once they do that, first of all, they're immediately going to be sent over to the service they're looking for, right? Whether this is a plumber or a landscaper or a house cleaner, whatever it is, they were scrolling on social media or they were looking on Google and found one of our pieces of content here. Then they came over, they said, hey, you know what? I've been meaning to deal with this burst pipe under my sink for a while now. It's probably time I call a plumber. This is the perfect time, right? And they feel like they found it on their own, even though we put it there in front of them in advance. But they feel like they found this, so they get excited. Hey, I'm going to knock this thing out. Let's come here and put my information in. Yes, how can I get a, usually this is, they put their information to get like a free estimate or a free guide, some kind of download, whatever it is. They're going to put their information in. And by the way, we can create all of this stuff with AI, these lead magnets, whatever we're going to be giving away, or if it's a service-based business, then we can just forward them to a free estimate. So that's super simple. But anyways, they found it, they said yes, then they immediately get sent to this business, whether this is a phone call or whatever. But then another magical thing happens. We can actually, using AI and automation, set up a system that reminds people about this service they're interested in every day. So these are actually emails here. Let's see if I could draw a little, pretty bad there, a little envelope. These are emails, and we can set these up to be automated so that these go out every single day. Now the reason we'd want to do that is what happens a lot of times with both products and services is when people first find them, they might be interested, they say yes, and they come check out the offer, whatever it is, the landing page, the local business, and then what happens is they bounce. They say, you know what, not today. It's a little more expensive than I was hoping, or I don't have time to fill out all these forms before I go to work, whatever it is. So a lot of people are going to see this offer and then bounce. Now, if we didn't have this AI email sequence set up, we would lose that traffic forever. But what I'm going to show you how to do here in the following videos is not only create all of this content using AI and automation, right? So creating months worth of content in a matter of minutes or hours. First, I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'm going to show you how to set up this AI contact sequence. This can be emails or text messages or even voicemail drops that basically remind people to come back and check out the thing they were interested in. Now, the reason you'd want to do this is because you can actually multiply your chances of getting that sale, or in this case, a warm lead over to your client with these simple AI emails. If you set up 7 days, if you set up 1 week of these emails, you've then 7x'd your chance of getting this lead or this sale. If you set up a month of these, then you've now 30x'd your chance of getting a lead or getting a sale. So that is the power of warm organic leads, and this is kind of the basis of this whole business model. Now again, what's cool is we could do this all with automation. So once you set it up once, it's kind of set it and forget it, right? We can automate content, we can automate the emails. So what are we doing in this process? Really all we're doing here is collecting the money, a little chunk of money each time a customer is connected with a local business. So that about wraps up this video, and I will see you in the next one.